noted this mushroom earlier.
Oh.
So, this log cabin is obviously one of the most unique gravestones in the cemetery, and really one of the most unique I've ever seen. It was also moved from the Channing Street Cemetery after the Bluff City opened in 1889. The monument actually weighs 4 tons.
Not being moved again.
No. He was an early settler, and the stone approximates Mr. Burritt's first Elgin home, which was a log cabin. What appears to be the address over the top of the door is not an address at all, but the year that he came. And as you will note, they have the tree here that has his descendants on there, and then little logs for his offspring there. A lot of the times, if the log is upright and short, like a stump, it actually connotes the fact that it was a child that was died, or somebody whose life was cut short.
Hi, my name is Mary Emma Chisholm, and I'm the youngest of 6 children born to Robert and Sarah Chisholm. And my father was a miner, and as most miners, he moved around a lot. So wherever father went, well, we often went with him. Today I'd like to tell you about my father and the Chisholm family. My father was born in New York in 1812, but his family moved to Elgin County, Ontario when he was young. And what a coincidence that he would eventually end up in Elgin, Illinois. He spent most of his youth in Elgin County, where he grew up with 8 siblings. However, tragedy struck the family. Between 1828 and 1835, 8 members of his family died. 4 brothers, 2 sisters, and both his parents passed away. Some said it was the Chisholm curse. You don't know about the curse?
I think I was
Oh. Well, let me tell you. William Wallace Chisholm, my grandfather, was said to be the captain of a lumber schooner on Lake Erie. A member of his crew was the only son of an Irish widow who supposedly possessed supernatural powers. Preparing to set sail when the skies were clear, he was cursed by the old widow, and she warned him, "Do not take this trip, for if you do, I'll never see me son again." Sure enough, after they set sail, a sudden storm destroyed the schooner. My grandfather was the sole survivor. He managed to reach shore on an improvised raft. The body of the Irish widow's son washed ashore at the same time. Frantic, in her grief, the old widow put "the curse of Ireland" on the captain. "May all your children die young, and not one of them die in bed."
Oh.
Well, now, the true cause of the death of the 8 Chisholm family members is unknown. Possibly tuberculosis, typhoid fever, maybe cholera. I mean, these were all deadly diseases back in the mid-1880s. And after the death of his family members, my father moved to Chicago, where he also got involved in the lumber trade. In 1840, he returned to Ontario, and that's where he married my mother, Sarah von Valkenburg. And they moved to the mining town of Galena, Illinois, which is just west of here. Oh, you've heard of Galena?
I have heard of it, yes.
Oh, that's where my father began his mining career. Well,
Mining what?
He was busy mining for lead
Oh.
in Hazel Green, Wisconsin, and Benton, Wisconsin.
good.
They're both close to Galena.
Yeah.
Now, by 1851, tales of the gold rush became intriguing to father. So he left his family in southern Wisconsin to prospect for gold in the western states, with little success. 4 years later, he returned, and he moved the family to Winona, Minnesota. And that's where I was born, in 1858. Then in 1863, my father purchased Fulton Knox Farm, south of Elgin on the west bank of the Fox River. It's the current site of the Elgin Mental Health Center.
Oh, beautiful property.
In 1868, my father formed a partnership with James Woodman, an old prospecting crony. Together, they selected a claim 500 feet down the mountain from an abandoned claim in Alta, Utah. The winter snows forced Father to return to the farm, where he tried to liquidate his property to raise money for prospecting. Unable to sell the farm, he asked my brother William to meet with James in Utah to continue exploring the claim. Father sold the farm in 1869 for $11,625, and we moved to Brook Street. Father sent the money to James and William for them to continue their work on the claim. This paid off for Father when they broke through into a chamber that was 90 feet high, 40 feet wide, and 125 feet long, and they struck silver.
Oh.
Now, the claim was surveyed in 1870 and entered on the books. Oh, when they entered it on the books, they needed a name for the claim, so my brother William named it the Emma Mine, after me. And it became one of the richest silver mines in the world at the time. A year later, mining speculators from New York purchased a large share of the Emma Mine. Now, after my father sold his last interests for $226,000, then my family had no further claim to the Emma Mine. In 1875, now flush with cash, my father bought the Peace Mansion at 120 South State Street from his former partner, who was eager to return to Utah. The mansion was a grand home, complete with numerous bedrooms and a ballroom. It was a symbol of our family's newfound wealth and success. My parents were proud to call it their own. My father was an entrepreneur at heart, and he continued to invest in various mining ventures throughout his life. After the success of the Emma Mine, he went on to invest in other mines and mining companies in the western United States. He was always looking for that next big opportunity. His business acumen was widely respected. Despite his success, my father never forgot his roots. 33 years after he began his mining career in Galena, Illinois, my father returned to St. Thomas, Ontario. He arranged to have a large monument erected in memory of his family. The monument, which cost $5,000, pays homage to his 8 family members who all lost their lives in a 7-year period. In the years that followed, Father continued to travel and invest in other business ventures. But as successful as he was, he never lost sight of what's truly important in life: his family. In 1891, my father passed away at my brother's home in Oakland, California. It was a somber moment for our family. We'd lost our beloved patriarch. His remains were returned to Illinois, where he was buried here next to my mother. Remembering my father's passing, it causes me to consider again that Chisholm curse. May all your children die young. Well, thankfully, not all of grandfather's children succumbed to the curse, or I would never have been born. And of my father's 6 children, only one passed away tragically in infancy, while the other 5 thrived, achieving success in our careers, living fulfilling lives into our 60s, and leaving behind a legacy through our descendants. I do wonder, however, since my 4 siblings all passed within a short 3-year span, if something of that old Irish curse continued on beyond my father's generation. I'll let you decide.